Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you have been watching my videos previously, you would have known that I have covered the topic of World War II extensively while playing Universe Sandbox. Today I have some announcements to make. I finally got the actual version of Universe Sandbox. The version that you have seen me play during the last several videos have been a very outdated version, outdated by over 4 years in fact. And today this version is finally working good enough for me so that I can record a video on it. Every time I tried to record a video on it on this version without a proper video card, it kept bugging out and my video didn't record and it wasted like half an hour of my time. So today it is finally working properly, hopefully, and I will continue to talk about World War II. Today it is going to be talking about the Eastern Front again and several battles of the Western Front. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this video. Back in Europe, Europe's Eastern Front saw several continuing battles during 1942 and early 1943. The siege of Sevastopol was finally broken in July 1942, and German forces captured the city, although not without massive losses from both sides. After, German forces also halted several Soviet offensives in Kharkov and the Kerch Peninsula, both inflicting hundreds of thousands of casualties on the Soviet Union, while only several dozen thousands of casualties on their German side. However, despite these victories, in early 1943, around February to March, the Battle of Stalingrad, which had lasted for several months now and has been going catastrophically for both sides, ended with a German loss. This proved to be a tremendous challenge for the Germans, as Stalingrad was a crucial industrial and commercial hub for the Soviets, and capturing it ensured a massive loss for the Soviet Union. Unfortunately, they failed this objective. Actually, well, not unfortunately. Unfortunately for them, they failed this objective, as after more than 6 months of continuous fighting on the streets of the city, German forces were forced to retreat by February 1943. Casualties were massive, with the Germans receiving over 800,000 to 1.5 million casualties, uh, as the Soviets received 1.1 to over 2 million casualties on their side. The estimates are extremely wide because in war you cannot have a very sure casualty estimates, especially for battles like this, as they are very long, they are very destructive. You don't have census records during several months. You can only estimate how many died by looking at casualty reports, death confirmations, all those stuff that will tell you if this person died or not, and perhaps compare censuses before and after the battle to estimate the casualties. Although this is obviously not the most accurate, as there could perhaps be immigration and people who have snuck out and survived but were not counted, and various of other reasons. The total death count of at least 1.1 to 3 million, or even more than that, marked the battle as the single largest and deadliest battle of World War II and of reliable history. Obviously, there have been many extremely deadly battles, like during the Mongol campaigns of the 13th century, but that is way too far in the past, and it is probably not the most reliable thing to be looking at. Also, this poor asteroid. It's getting swallowed into the sun and heating up at over 130,000 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Yep, everything is now being sucked into the sun and glowing violently. Even things out here are going at over 18,000 degrees Celsius. The Sedna is over 20,000 degrees. Okay. Interesting. It looks like the sun is repelling things. Oh, okay. I didn't mean to do that. Now the sun is huge. Anyways, back to World War II. Despite this major loss, Germany pushed on after the Soviets began to taper off, creating a bulge in the front line near Kharkov. Meanwhile, on the Western Front, Germany achieved some success in the Atlantic, where they destroyed several hundred Allied shipping ships, and in Africa, where they forced Allied forces to retreat deep into Egypt, where they from Algeria and Libya. Obviously, this was not very good for the Allies, as the main theaters for World War II were in here, in Europe and in Africa. So losing plenty of stuff would not be good for them, obviously. An attempted raid on the town of Dieppe, northern France, ended in disaster as much of the Allied troops were captured by German forces while achieving extremely few of the objectives that were set out by the Allies. This is quite an interesting thing. This is weird, but okay. Let's make it bigger. Yeah, this is so odd. Speed it up a bit. Uh, Most of the Allied troops were either captured, killed, or injured by the Axis forces. This raid proved the Allies' inability to host a large-scale invasion on the Reich's mainland at this point. Obviously, if you remember my previous videos, I said that Britain and the US were negotiating, and the Soviet Union as well, were negotiating on either to invade France and take it back from Germany at this point, because they thought that in 1942 they had to do that or else they would lose the war. Which, of course, was not a very horrible assumption. Fortunately, at that time, Brit the United Kingdom agreed. I meant they asked the Americans to agree to keep focusing on sabotaging Germany during the war instead of just, trying to stage a massive large scale invasion and most likely failing. This raid proved that 100%, and it set the Allies to begin to prepare for a more massive raid or invasion in the future. The tides began to turn during the later part of 1942, however, as the Allies began to push back in Africa. They drove out the Axis from Egypt across Libya, landed in North Africa during Operation Torch that caused the region to rejoin Allied forces, and captured Tunisia in May of 1943. Despite Hitler taking Vichy France, because he was bitter about these African losses, the French fleet at Toulon was successfully rescued, preventing them from German capture. There were plenty of ships at Toulon that would have been a great help to Germany had they been captured. Fortunately, the Allies managed to rescue pretty much all of them and caused Germany to obviously become angry because they couldn't get the thing that they wanted. But that's obviously better for us than for them. These victories helped expel the Axis from Africa and made the Allied forces get closer and closer to capturing Germany. So as you can see, yes, even though they had lots of setbacks during the beginning of 1942, they pushed on and began achieving more and more successes in 1943. And we shall now watch as these moons collide violently. And probably, what will they get torn apart by Earth and the forces of it, or you know? Okay, let's speed it up a bit. Hopefully, it doesn't, really crash. You can see the fragments of the moons circling Earth violently. Some of them are hitting Earth and causing it to heat up a lot. Yeah, this is absolutely not good. Yep, there is now a ring of asteroids circling Earth. Obviously, this is not good for Earth, as yeah, this is obviously an extinction level event. Even though some of these countries may look fine, they are absolutely not fine. Okay, that is it for this video today. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video so that my channel will grow. I cannot continue this channel without your help, so thank you for watching and goodbye.